Hello, viewers. Mr. Victor again with Learning with Stocks Loans Cheaters. I'm here to give you more knowledge. So in my previous video, I did promise to share a video on coding. Now, once again, I have to remind you. So this is coding. So I have to remind you again, this is the global math curriculum, excluding dots. So today I did promise to share with you a video to inform you on how you do coding on the different machines. So I'll start with the 2-1 machine. The 2-1 machine, right? A 2-1 machine. So I'll go straight to the point and draw a table. That's my table. We'll divide it. Now, of course, now from the extreme right-hand side, that's the ones, place, value, unit, then tens, then you have hundreds, and of course thousands, and so on, right? So this is the 2-1 machine. Now, what this means is for every 2 dots to the right-hand side, now that gives you an explosion and creates 1 dot to the left-hand side, right? So let's start. Now, what's the coding for 1 on this machine? What's the coding for 1? So for 1, I'll have to put 1 dot there. Nothing really happens because we must make 2 dots to create an explosion of 1 to the left-hand side. So then the coding for 1 is simply 1. So I'll just write there 1. That's it. Now, something interesting now happens. Now, what's the coding for 2? What's the coding for 2? Now, I add another dot there, and you got it right. Kaboom! An explosion. Now, this generates 1 dot on this side. It's a 2-1 machine, remember? So you get 1 dot in the tens place value. And of course, now these 2 dots are gone because they created 1 dot on the left-hand side. So basically, 1 dot on the left-hand side represents 2 dots on the right-hand side. Okay, so I'll also erase this. Nice. So then the coding for 2 is very clear, as you can see. It's simply 1 and 0, nothing in the ones place value. So the coding for 2 is simply 1, 0 on the 2-1 machine. Now, what then is the coding for 3? What's the coding for 3 on this particular machine? So let me just clear this, and I'll clear that, and I'll clear this. So if I create 1 more dot on, if I create, well, of course, that's 1 dot. So if I create 1 other dot on the right-hand side, nothing really happens because it must be 2 dots to generate an explosion. It must be 2 dots for an explosion to be generated. So nothing really happens. So that tells us the coding for 3 is 1, 1. Okay, nothing happens. Now tell me, what will be the coding for 4? Because now this becomes really interesting and things become a bit dramatic in this case. Now, what's the coding for 4? You got it? Now, let's see. I add another dot. Now, this triggers an explosion. Kaboom! Nothing left there. That creates another dot there. And another successive explosion. Kaboom! And 1 dot there. All right? So let's see what has happened. So I'm going to clear these ones. That was an explosion. Nothing was left. That was an explosion. Nothing was left. So you only have 1 dot on this side. You only have 1 dot right there. Okay, so then what's the coding for our 4? So the coding for 4 becomes 1 dot there, nothing there, and nothing there. So the coding for 4 is simply 1, 0, and 0. All right, do you get it? I hope you did. So let's proceed on. I erase this for clarity. Let me erase that. Now, let's go to a fifth dot. A fifth dot. So in case I put a fifth dot, of course, everything begins from the right. Nothing really happens. So that tells us that the coding for 5 becomes 1, nothing there, and 1. So the coding for 5 is 1, 0, 1. Now to you viewers, let me just clear this. To you viewers, now what's the coding for 6? Now, just to give you a heads up, something interesting will happen with the 6. Let's see if you figure it out. So what's the coding for 6? I give you 10 seconds to tell me what the coding for 6 would be. What's the coding for 6, my viewers? Did you try it? Time's up. Now let's see. Now, like I said, something interesting will happen with the coding for 6. So for the coding of 6, it means I add a 6th dot. And this triggers an explosion. Kaboom! And 1 dot on that side. Okay? So basically, we don't have any other thing that is going to happen. So it's simply 1, 1. And of course, we had an explosion in the unit place value. So this is gone. All right. So then that means that the coding for our 6 becomes 1, 1, and nothing. So it's 1, 1, 0. All right. Yeah. So that's the coding on the 2, 1 machine. That's the coding on the 2, 1 machine. So viewers, if you liked my videos, if you found them helpful, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, and please share with your friends and those who might also need to learn about the interesting things I share with you, and I'll really appreciate. Now, on the next video, we'll be doing a 3-1 machine, coding on a 3-1 machine. So really appreciate for your time. Goodbye. See you next time, and remain blessed. Bye-bye.